In this video, we're going to take a look at a step-by-step approach of drawing a head from imagination. We'll be adapting a method that was introduced by famed illustrator Andrew Loomis. We're going to start with a circle, and then we're going to create a vertical line right down the middle of the circle, subsecting it into two parts. Then we'll create a horizontal line that intersects the first vertical line. Then we're basically going to draw a square in between the center of the circle, and this is going to give us an indication of certain features on the face. The hairline is the top line, the brow line is the center line, and then our nose line will be the bottom line. Now, to figure out where the chin line is, we're basically going to take the distance from the brow line to the nose line, and we're simply going to double it. So the distance from the bottom of the nose to the chin is the same distance from the brow line to the nose line. Now, using the bottom corners of the square, we can go ahead and find the shape of the chin using the chin line as a guide. Now that we've got the chin in place, we can measure the overall distance or length of the head from the top of the head to the very bottom of the chin to figure out where the eyes are going to be located. And the eyes are right in the middle of the overall length of the head. Of course, this line will be found just underneath the brow line. Now we have a pretty good idea of the overall shape of our head. Now we can go ahead and start adding some of the features. And I'm just going to create a couple of lines to indicate the cavity in which the eyes rest within the skull. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and draw the eyes on the eye line. We'll add just a bit of shadow and value to give a little bit of information of the form, and go ahead and add the eyebrows on the brow line. Now, moving on to the nose, we can determine the width of the nose by looking at the inside corners of the eye. Now, not everyone is going to have a nose that's exactly as wide as the distance from the inside corners of the eyes. Some people's noses will be a little bit thinner, and some people's noses will be a bit wider. Of course, we're drawing this face from imagination, so you're free to make the nose as wide or as skinny as you'd like. Now, the mouth line is just above halfway the distance between the bottom of the nose and the top of the chin. So if you find the halfway point and just go a little bit further up, that's a good place for the mouth. And the mouth is about as wide as the inside corners of the pupil. So if you draw a line straight down from the inside corners of the pupil, you'll get an approximate width of the mouth. The same thing is true here. Some mouths are larger and some are smaller. Now for the ears, we're going to start the ears coming out of the head on the eye line, and then we'll bring that line all the way up to the brow line, back around, and then we'll let the ear end at the nose line. Again, everyone's ear is different, and some people's ears are a bit longer and will go a little bit further down below that nose line, and some people's ears are of course shorter. We'll go ahead and fill in some value on the ears just to give us a little bit of an indication of the form, and then we'll move on to the hairline. Remember that top line at the top is the hairline. Again, everyone's different. So we're going to go ahead and bring a line around on the inside part of the forehead, and we'll give this guy a little bit of a widow's peak here just to add some interest to the hairline. Now everyone's hair comes off their head just a bit. So to add that indication of thickness, we'll draw the outside contour here a little further away from the skull. And then we'll go ahead and add just a bit of value, again to give us an indication of form and add just a bit of interest to our sketch. Alright, now we can tackle the neck, and the most common mistake I see people make is making the neck too skinny, not wide enough. For a masculine face, we're going to drop the lines down for the neck just on the inside corners of where the ear meets the head. For a feminine neck, you can go in just a little bit further than that, but again, make sure that you don't make the neck too skinny so it looks like the head might snap off if the figure took a quick turn or something like that. All right, let's move on to drawing a head from the profile view, and we're going to start the same way by drawing a circle. And just as we did with the first head, we're going to subsect that circle both horizontally and vertically. And here again, we're going to go ahead and draw that square right in the middle of the circle. All right, now we have a good indication of where the hairline will be, where the brow line will be, and then where the nose line is located. So the next thing we need to do is determine the length of the head by finding the bottom of the chin. So here again, it's going to be the distance. Well, the distance from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin is going to be the same distance from the brow line to the nose line. And then we'll go ahead and draw a line right down the middle. But remember, this is a profile view. So the line's going to curve a bit as it comes around the front. And then we'll connect the chin with the center point of the intersection on the bottom portion of the square here. And now we've got a pretty good idea of what the skull would look like from the side here. All right, next we need to determine where the eyes will be located. And again, it's going to be right in the middle of the length from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin. And again, that eye line is going to be right underneath the brow line. With the locations of our features figured out, we can go ahead and draw the contours of the face from the side view. And you'll notice there's a bit of a bow that happens there at the brow line. And we'll bring that in just a bit and then back out for the nose. And then back around, and then back in for the nostril. Keep in mind that the front of the face is curved, as evidenced by our line that we drew originally down the front of the face. I know it's on the side of the head here since we're looking at the profile view, but it's basically right down the middle of the face. And then we'll work our way down and we'll draw that top lip, which bows out a bit. And then we'll draw the bottom lip. Again, the mouth is just above halfway the distance from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. And we'll bring that line up just a little bit. We want that line not to be terribly strong though, because we're going to add a neck down here at the bottom in just a moment. Now I'm going to give some indication of the eye here, but first I'm going to give a little bit of shadow where the brow sticks out. Again, just to help me define the cavity in which the eye rests within. And then we can go ahead and draw the eye from the side view. We'll go ahead and add an eyebrow there as well, and just a bit of shading here to indicate a little bit of information about the form. Now for the ear, we can work right along that center line, coming up from the eye line, up to the brow line, back around, down to the bottom where the nose line is. And then we'll quickly add just some quick details and a bit of value to the ear as well. All right, next we can go ahead and add the neck. And you can see here, it's not as far back as you would think it would be, starting from underneath the chin. So we're just going to draw a little bit of a diagonal line to give it an indication. Then before we do the back edge of the neck, we're going to go ahead and define the outer line of the hairline. So again, the hair is going to come off the head a bit. So we'll bring that contour line out a bit. We'll bring it closer to the back edge of the head though. And we can draw that line for the back of the neck. And we can make adjustments to that too to create more of an accurate shape there. Now for the inside line for the hair, we'll go ahead and bring that up again. We're going to do another widow's peak on this guy. And then we'll quickly add just a bit of value and shading here. And I am going to bring that neckline in just a slight bit. All right, now let's take a look at drawing a head from a 3/4 view. And we're going to mix things up just a little bit for this one. For the first two examples, we drew circles, and we're going to start with a circle here, but instead of thinking of it as a circle, we're going to think of it as a sphere, because the lines that we draw to subsect the circle need to follow the cross contours of the sphere. So instead of drawing a straight line down, we're going to draw a curved line around the front part of the sphere. Now, remember we flattened off the edges when we drew that square. So if you're looking at a sphere from the side, and you've cut off the edges, you might have a rounded shape here on the side. That's why we drew that ellipse to the far right. And then of course we're going to subsect the sphere using a horizontal line across. Now, going back to that square, that sphere there, or that ellipse rather, is the same as that square. That's basically what we're indicating on both of the first two examples. It's just a little bit easier to draw the square when you're drawing a head from the side view or from the front view. So now we've got an indication of where our hairline is, our brow line is, and our nose line, just as we did on the other examples. We'll next determine where the chin will be located, and again, we'll take the distance from the brow line to the nose line and apply it to the distance from the nose line to where the chin would be. And then we're going to continue our center line downward to the chin line, and that's going to be the center of our face. Then we can connect the bottom of the chin here to create the jawline with the intersection that happens at the bottom of the ellipse on the far right. We can also define the front edge of the head. Now let's determine where the eyes will be located, and again, it's going to be right in the middle of the overall length of the head from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin. Now for this example, I'm going to go ahead and start to define some of the contours of the front of the face. Then, just as we've done with the other two examples, I'm going to define a bit of the cavity that happens where the eyes rest within the skull. So I'll bring a line up to the brow line on both sides of the face. And doing this just kind of gives me a better idea of where the eye should be in three-dimensional space. Then I can go ahead and fill in a bit of value and draw both of the eyes. We can go ahead and bring the nose down from there, and it will probably dip a bit lower, in this case rather, than the nose line itself, but when it comes back to the face, it will connect right at the bottom of the nose line. We'll clean up that contour line just a bit now that we've got some information about the nose on the surface. And again, we can draw a line for the mouth, and it's just above halfway from the bottom of the nose to the chin line. We can check and make sure that we've got the width of the nose and the mouth correct, again by comparing them to the inside corners of the eye for the nose and then the inside corners of the pupil for the mouth. Then we'll go ahead and add a bit of value here to give some information about the form of the face. All right, let's go ahead and add an ear. And here again, we'll start at the eye line, bring that line up to the brow line, and then back down to the nose line. And then we'll go ahead and add just a bit of value and shading here to give some indication of the form. All right, let's go ahead and tackle that hairline. And again, we'll stick with the widow peak theme here, and we'll bring that hairline up, then back down and around the side to the ear. And then of course, as we're drawing the outer contour, we're gonna go ahead and let that come off of the head a bit, again, to give some indication of form. Then we'll go ahead and fill in some value here. All right, let's go ahead and add the neck. We're going to let the neck just drop down right out of the back. And there's not really a rule you can follow here for finding the width of the neck. Sometimes you just have to put a few lines on the surface and then make adjustments to those lines. All right, so these three examples are far from finished pieces of artwork, but hopefully the methodology that we went through to arrive at these faces or heads will give you a bit of help here when you're drawing your own heads from imagination. I hope this tutorial helped you out. If you enjoyed this video and you're ready to learn more, why not check out 5 video courses, weekly live instruction, and over 6,280 minutes of art instruction, which includes video courses, downloadable ebooks, weekly live lessons streamed across the internet, and lesson plans for teachers. Just click on the Learn More Now button to start learning today.